And we're back with Sue Ernst, learning a little bit about her career path and why she chose to stay here in the Berks County area doing what she does best over there and keeping Grings Mill as pretty as it can possibly be. You know, I spend a lot of time there.
I know you do.
Running, biking, hiking, walking. It's really a beautiful place, and you do a fine job in the need of, you know, somebody having an event or some sort of questions. You're always there for them. And I learned a little bit about you during the first half. I had no idea that the career path that you had once chosen was to be a police officer. It should come as no surprise the way that you run your tight ship over there. So I am learning, you know, what it's like to have a dream and kind of have it shattered and realize that there's more on the other side, because there's so many people that once a door closes, they just kind of give up and they don't know where to turn or who to turn to. So you let it be known that you had certain friends that kind of lifted you back up in the law enforcement world. But what else did it take, you know, to understand and realize that, hey, there's more out there and I got this?
I was very fortunate to have a grandfather that I adored. And my grandfather, who I lost when I was 22, meant the world to me. And a lot of times he and I would spend time walking through cemeteries and trying to find our family history. And when we'd hit a wall, he'd look at me, and he wasn't a very God-fearing, church-going person, but he said, you know, he said, when God slams a door, he opens a window somewhere. And that's kind of been my theory that I followed. He was a very wise man. He had an 8th grade education, and when I saw what he was capable of, I thought, if he could do this, I can do it. And every day, when I found out about my knees, I was depressed, and I had a lot of people talking to me, like I said, telling me not to give up. And I finally had to look deep down inside myself and say, Sue, if you can't do this directly, there's some way that you can work this, that you're still going to wind up being involved with law enforcement in some manner. And I did. Like I said, working with the park rangers now, I've kind of become their administrator, because the chief can't do a lot of things because he's only part-time. So when he doesn't have the time, he's calling and, hey, can you shoot an email to this person? And I enjoy what I'm doing. And I think being out on the street nowadays, I would worry, am I going to get hurt? Am I going to go home? Where I admire the guys and the girls that are out in the street doing it now. But I think this is my hole. This is the window that God opened for me, or whoever opened, and has given me that opportunity.
And this here is your home. It's been your home, always been your home. You raised a family here. You have 2 children?
Yes.
How old are they?
Tommy is 12. Chrissy is 9 and will be 10 in June.
Okay. And have you always had in your mind that you wanted to make Berks County your home for good?
I had opportunities to go to Delaware, to go out west to work with my college degree, and I actually went for a job interview, and they said I had to pack up in the next 8 hours and be in Indiana. And when I had the opportunity, I stopped and I thought, nope, I'm not going to Indiana. My family's here. And Berks County has a lot to offer, which people don't really realize. There's a lot historically. There's, when I'm not working, I like to go exploring to different historical places. New York's not that far away. Philadelphia's not that far away. It's kind of like the center of, to me, it became the center of the universe, because there's a lot to do, not only in Berks County, but there's a lot of opportunities around Berks County that people just don't see. Because we're not a Philly and we're not a New York.
Right. And what about your children? You think they feel the same way? Do you think they're getting that vibe from you that, you know, this, you know, right now, the life that you're living, you might kind of, you know, want to go in a different direction and be in a different place, but knowing what their mom does and how their mom lives their life and what the community has given back to you, because I know you're so involved in many different things, which we'll get to. But how do you think they feel raising children here in Berks County?
We have a good time. We try to give them the opportunities and take them places that they may not always get to. One of my favorite haunts is the Reading Public Museum and the trails. around there. I'm giving them the same opportunity, but I'm not forcing it down their throat. They need to make that decision. But what I'm trying to teach them is that no matter where you are, you need to love it and find the good in it. Yeah, there's a lot of negative, and I'll be the first one to admit that's usually what you hear, but there's a lot of good things about Berks County too.
And when you did talk about your grandfather and family and the folks that helped you out here in this area, who else or what else was it in Berks County that really stepped up and made a difference when you realized that you've got to turn things around and make some other decisions?
I think as I jokingly say, I'm a country girl. I think if I would have been any place else, it was just the surroundings too, because there are places, I mean, even at my job, if I'm having a bad day, I can go out and go for a walk and still be at work. Well, who else can say that? And it was spending a lot of time actually over at Berks Leisure area where my office is, sitting under the pavilion, sometimes writing, sometimes just sitting there and watching nature, that I realized that why do I want to give this up? Why do I want to put this behind me? And I think there was a little spiritual intervention too, but I had to dig deep down inside myself to make that decision. Nobody else could make that decision for me. But in a big city, I think I'd feel lost.
Yeah, and you know what? During all of these interviews that we do, there's always a little test of faith in each of these stories. And just when you think you know somebody, you really don't. Because if someone were to ask me if I knew you, yes, of course I know Sue Ernst. And then, you learn a little bit more about that person and some other things that I want to know. With the community that you're involved in, what else do you do?
I am probably the biggest thing that I'm involved with is Safe Kids Berks County. Safe Kids was actually founded in Berks County back in 1991. We had about 90 people then, and we're down to about 8 that remain. And one of the big things that Safe Kids does is I'm a child passenger safety technician. In other words, I'm certified through NHTSA to check car seats. And 5 years ago, I've been doing that for 12, and 5 years ago, I became certified as an instructor. And right now, I'm the only instructor in Berks County.
Wow.
And we check the car seats to make sure they're installed properly. A lot of people don't know car seats expire. It's a whole realm. It's a 32-hour course, and that's one of the main ways, too, that now I have, as my daughter calls them, my children, my boys and my girls, that I instruct them and then keep in contact with them. If they have a question, they know I'm accessible.
That's one.
That's
now,
one.
we were talking before this interview. You said, I just had to postpone a meeting that I had because I have this on Monday, this on Tuesday, this on Wednesday.
I'm involved in my church handbell choir. I'm on my church council. This is the last year for that. I teach Sunday school, which is surprising to a lot of people. I'm not, because I come off as a very tough cookie. Like you said, I have my, I'm in charge.
And there's a lot of events on Sundays at Grings Mill, so you have to be a part of that as well.
Part of Grings from May to October, basically, my family knows that most likely at least one day out of the weekend, I will not be at home. And sometimes we may have an event on a Saturday, a walk or a run on a Saturday, and Sunday night we have a concert. And I think there's 4 times this year coming up that I will be in the park from at least 5 o'clock in the morning till 9:30 at night.
It's a lot. I've seen what you can do, and you have the ability to knock them down like dominoes.
I'm the jack of all trades and master of none.
It's good.
Yes.
And in the midst of doing all that, you've really touched a lot of people. Mm-hmm. And I learned a lot today from you. So we want to thank you. And if there's anything that I'm leaving out that you want to get across to people, and I think that was an important note right there, what you had added about the car seats, because there are a lot of people that just throw it in, put the seatbelt on. And, the other thing that you have to watch out for are grandparents or people that, you're loaning a car seat to. Here's the car seat. Can you pick so-and-so up? Is there a website or anything that people can go to find out more information or contact you?
They can actually contact AAA Reading Berks. Talk to Cheryl Gauker. We just started a program where at least 3 times a month we are checking car seats by appointment. In fact, tonight's one of those nights. But we're trying to we did this as a test program for the first 3 months. And in that time since January, I have checked at least 25 car seats. So the demand's out there, and even if you have a question and you're not sure, we'd rather have you come and make sure it's okay, because we want the kids safe, and we're still at 4 out of 5 cars on the road have something wrong with their car seat, even if it's just something loose or, something in the car that shouldn't be. So we're still looking at 80% even in 2014.
Wow. Well, for as bad as this might sound, it's not meant to sound that way, but I'm kind of glad that things didn't work out the way that they were supposed to in some people's minds. But I got to meet you through Grings Mill, and I'm glad I did, and you really do a super great job in the Berks County area. So
Thank you.
Thank you. Sue Ernst, I'm Jackie Hoffman on the People Chronicles.